I believe that men and women are not created equal.
We don't negotiate with terrorists. And that's how a lot of women are as terrorists. You don't sit there and negotiate with them.
It's called the alpha male movement.
The true alpha male.
Alpha males, influencer as they call themselves.
Boom in her face. Shut up!
Experts warn the trend is now impacting young men.
It's deeply entangled in a web of ideologies known as the red pill, and even more disturbing, the black pill communities.
With black pill, by the way. It is supposed to be one step beyond the red pill.
The suspect has been arrested after reportedly assaulting multiple women in the street, claiming he had taken the black pill.
The black pill cult, a worldview built on hopelessness, rage, and a deep hatred toward women, starts to spread online.
The monster who mowed down 25 pedestrians in Toronto is being hailed in the dark corners of the internet as a hero. It's believed he carried out the attack to exact revenge on women for rejecting him.
But one influencer doesn't just join the cult, he becomes its face.
And now I have a new tribe. They have shown supreme loyalty to me.
He isn't just gaining followers, he is raising an army.
I'm a real true believer in the black pill.
And on December 27th, 2021, he goes on a killing spree through the city of Denver. But one woman stands in his way. She's the only one who can stop this cult and put an end to his reign of terror before he hurts anyone else ever again.
I was going to take my own life and he decided to shoot me instead of that. But I wasn't going to let him win.
Roman McClay.
I'm here with Roman McClay.
The Unabomber of the 2010s, the recluse who may or may not be plotting your demise.
Currently blowing up Twitter, making a whole lot of noise online.
We have the man, a literal myth, living out in the forest somewhere. Nobody knows where he's at. Thank you for joining us. For those that don't know Roman, he is the author of Sanction, which has got all the momentum in the world behind it right now. People are really into it. There's a movement behind it. People are trying to get movies made, get you on Joe Rogan.
Roman quickly became famous before anyone could realize what he truly stood for. Podcast hosts treated him like a modern philosopher, but few noticed the violent undertone behind his words.
This is the thing that 99% of people miss. They put people into two categories: decent, civilized motherfuckers and violent people. And I'm offended by the fact that someone who's violent is just shuttled off into this category of psychopath.
Because one thing modern society does is it tells men like myself to not be so macho, right? It's called toxic masculinity. And we're told constantly that we're the problem. I thought if I wrote a book like this, it would find those kinds of people and they would for once feel almost redeemed by it.
You're going to say, fuck this guy, fuck this book, this is a dark piece of whatever. I'm going to go write an angry blog article about it and then I'm going to forget about it in 2 weeks because there's no way this thing is making it into prime time. But then the other people, it's like, man, this is what I've been waiting for.
For years, I was abandoned by my tribe, usurped, betrayed, overthrown, and now I have a new tribe, loyal to me. And I haven't tested the limits of that loyalty, but where we're at now, they've shown supreme loyalty to me.
Members of Lyndon's new black-pilled tribe knew that his so-called first tribe were people from his past life he hated, and that they were all on the hit list hidden in the pages of Sanction. But one woman seemingly held more importance to him than the others: the indigenous Mexican-American painter, muralist, educator, activist, body piercer, tattoo artist, and Lyndon's ex-girlfriend, Alicia Cardenas.
Alicia was really about bringing people together and just showing us that we are all one.
She was a progressive artist in person, very strong woman.
She was a warrior. She wanted to make a difference in this world, and you damn well bet she did.
I hope you all are taking good care of each other today. I'm gonna be doing some tattoos. I'm gonna be hugging my people extra long. I'm gonna be trying to remind everybody who the fuck they are, what they bring to the universe. I hope it's going to help you and ignite you to do more work and change throughout our communities. So, and I hope you have a good day. Ometeo metakwe oasin.
Ometeotl mitakuye oyasin, Alicia's motto, a Lakota Nahuatl mantra, meaning we're all connected as one through the universe. And the 44-year-old lived by it, even though connection wasn't what she found when she first entered the tattoo world in the early 90s. Back then, the industry was still ruled by biker gangs and ex-convicts, For a young woman of color, it wasn't just hostile, it was truly dangerous.
You know, there's a difference between being called a bad name and the real bad experience is, you know, having somebody pull a gun on you and beat you up. Many women were sexually aggressive, sexually exploited, even in this tattoo industry. And that's not just Denver, that's the entire industry.
Alicia had no interest in joining that scene, so she set out to build something of her own. After delivering pizza and cleaning houses for years, she opened Soul Tribe on Broadway Street in downtown Denver. Her shop wasn't just about tattoos. She wanted it to become a home for people like her. She hired artists whom other shops had rejected. She mentored teenagers, ran food drives for people experiencing homelessness, and painted murals with messages about healing and tolerance. Her employee and best friend, Jimmy Maldonado, was by her side from the beginning. Together, they built a powerful community and made inclusion their mission. But their message didn't sit well with everyone.
At times, the odds were definitely against us. There's people who just didn't want to see us succeed. There was a lot of sexism and racist talk. Someone threw this rock through this big window of ours. It was a threat, but none of that was going to stop us. Alicia just had a great vision. It can be something different and something better, and it doesn't have to be like this.
Jimmy and Alicia poured everything into Soul Tribe, building it into one of Colorado's most respected tattoo shops. Before long, Broadway Street became a hub for the counterculture, with open-minded tattoo parlors popping up all around. Along the way, Alicia became something of a matriarch to her people, a legend in downtown Denver. She had truly changed the game and was finally living her dream. But in the shadows, someone from her past was watching, and they were waiting for the right moment to destroy it all. It's December 27th, 2021, just 3 days after Christmas. Jimmy's wife, Alyssa, not to be confused with Alicia, is helping close up Soul Tribe for the night with her husband and Alicia. The couple shares with their boss that they've been trying for a baby recently, heartwarming news to Alicia, who officiated their wedding 2 years prior. The three are cleaning up and chatting when someone none of them has seen in nearly 20 years walks through the door.
I was in the back in my room. Alyssa and Alicia were in the front. Someone comes into the shop. Once I realized who it was, I was shocked. Something was off with him.
Back in 1999, Lyndon found his way to Denver after fleeing a cult-like hippie commune known as Zen Dick Farm. There, he soon got acquainted with the city's up-and-coming tattoo industry and, eventually, walked into Soul Tribe.
One day, someone comes into the shop, and his name was Lyndon McLeod. He would talk to people, he would talk to Alicia. After a while, they became friends.
Alicia believed in second chances. When she met Lyndon, she saw someone spiritually broken, searching for meaning and belonging. They connected quickly, and before long, their friendship turned into something more. But it didn't take long for things to take a turn for the worse. Lyndon's charm gave way to cynicism. He started saying things that made her uneasy, offhand jokes that were almost insults, and opinions that felt more like warnings. Before things got out of hand, she broke up with him. In 2018, Alicia was interviewed by a fellow feminist influencer. She was asked about a time she felt unsafe in a relationship. She didn't mention anyone in particular, but the similarities to Lyndon were uncanny.
I hated his whole warrior mentality, his aggressiveness, and that he had been calling himself an alpha male for so long. And so I'm happy that he didn't kill me or punch me in the face, but I forgive him for being overly aggressive.
While Alicia was focused on building a safe space to bring people together, Lyndon vanished into the woods and built a container house in which he could live in complete isolation. There, he spiraled deeper into radicalization. In the echo chamber he created for himself online, he convinced himself that Alicia and everyone who offended him were to blame for everything that had gone wrong in his life. During this time, he wrote his revenge fantasy book, Sanction, in which he explicitly names Alicia and has his self-insert protagonist murder her. However, when Lyndon hinted online that his novel might not stay fictional for much longer, many of his followers backed away. A few even reported him to the FBI for terrorist intent, but no concrete action was taken. So, on that cold December night in 2021, Lyndon walks into Soul Tribe dressed in black leather and body armor. He's bringing his twisted fantasy to life. He pulls an AR-15 from a bag and, without saying a word, fires on Alicia, Jimmy, and Alyssa. In the early morning of December 27th, police officer Ashley Ferris arrives at her station in Lakewood, 7 miles from Denver. She's running on coffee and very little sleep. She's been struggling with an ongoing divorce, and the holidays hit hard.
I needed to be getting mental health help that I wasn't getting, and I wasn't telling people that I needed it.
It's the first Christmas she spent alone, and the silence at home has been brutal. Still, she shows up. With half the department out sick, she doesn't have much of a choice.
And then I had someone at work text me, and I don't want to make this part sound bad, but you know, he texted me and he was like, hey, you need to watch your reputation because like you're not the same version of yourself. You're not the same Agent Ferris that we all know, and I think your attitude has changed, and I think you need to like course correct, basically. And what that person didn't understand is that I was like at my breaking point.
Ashley used to crack jokes in the locker room, always in good spirits. She was the kind of cop who noticed when someone was having a bad day and honestly asked about it. But nowadays, the only thing that keeps her going seems to be her pets at home.
I had struggled with mental health and depression and anxiety and things before, and I had dabbled with getting help, but I didn't really want to open up to the problems. I didn't really want to address all the truth and all the issues that I was going through.
By lunchtime, Ashley is sitting alone in her cruiser in an empty parking lot, trying to keep it together. Lakewood officers patrol alone, and the isolation doesn't help. Her thoughts quickly spiral out of control. She's been in a dark place for months, and today feels worse than usual. She starts crying, but is interrupted by her phone. It's a text from a friend on the force, asking if he should walk her dog during her shift. She knows this is her last chance to ask for help, but here, all alone and at the end of her rope, she just doesn't take it.
And quite frankly, I backed them into a corner because I told them all the things that I knew I could say without them putting me on a mental health hold, because this was another officer. And I knew exactly what I could say and what I shouldn't say to toe that line. And that was the person that I would probably suspect would have taken care of my animals, which was my biggest concern. And I really didn't care about anything else. And I told that person, you know, like, I don't think I can do this anymore. Like, I don't know what I'm doing. And that person was like, are you planning on hurting yourself? Are you planning on killing yourself? All the questions that we ask as police officers. And I didn't respond. I navigated around. And the truth was, I was gonna kill myself. I was gonna go home that night after work and take my own life. And I was fine with that.
The rest of the shift goes by. Routine calls, patrols, nothing out of the ordinary. Ashley goes through the motions and agrees to do a double for the sake of the team. It's her last day on Earth after all. She may as well make herself useful. Then, just after 5 p.m., her radio crackles.
To all agents, be advised, there's rifle casings and kippings at the homicide.
Suspect is last seen south.
832, I'm at Alaskan Band.
Dispatch, we're hearing shots fired. We're hearing shots fired.
He's still shooting.
Do you have your tac vests? Put them on.
He was shooting at them with the rifle, and they're attempting to return fire. And at that point, it's pedal to the metal, trying to get there as fast as I can.
Ashley does what she can to piece together the events as they happen in real time on her radio. At 5:25, her Denver colleagues find the bodies of Alicia and Alyssa at Soul Tribe, but manage to rescue Jimmy before he bleeds out. But unfortunately, Lyndon is already long gone. At 5:31, he bursts into the apartment of his ex-business partner, tattoo artist Jeremy Costello.
So I broke that business off with him, and he hated that. I never would have thought it would come to something like this, but in the book, a character that was his own name, Lyndon McLeod, was gonna kill me and then behead her.
Thankfully, Jeremy, his wife, and their 8-month-old daughter escape in time, but the other people listed throughout the pages of Sanction aren't as lucky. At 5:45, Lyndon kills a contractor he used to work with, named Michael Swinyard, at his residence. At 5:49, police engage Lyndon's black van. They don't know that the attack has been planned. The pursuit ends in a shootout, and the suspect wrecks 2 police cruisers before fleeing towards Lakewood. Once there, Lyndon continues his vendetta by heading straight to the Lucky 13 tattoo parlor, and at 5:58, kills another of his past partners out of jealousy, tattoo artist Danny Schofield, right in front of his 2 clients.
We were just standing there,
and this guy in this chute and this rifle came in, shot him 3 times. The guy came in, he said the guy's by name. He said, Danny, and then shot him like 3 times.
Lyndon then walks into a restaurant where he forces his way behind the counter and pours himself a drink.
And threw the glass at my feet, and it shattered, and then he pulled his gun on me.
Yeah? Well, guess who's in charge? It ain't you, bitch! Fuck off! I just wanted to drink, you stupid cunt. What?
At 6:04, another gunfight erupts between him and the police. He escapes into a Hyatt hotel and kills 28-year-old front desk worker Sarah Steck, who isn't listed in sanction. She simply happens to be in the wrong place at the wrong time.
You know, the hotel clerk that had been less than a block away from me when she was murdered, she was the same age as me, and she was also on overtime.
It's now 6:10. Ashley finally reaches the area where the last attack happened. Nobody can guess exactly where Lyndon is headed next, but she has her own idea.
I knew that he was involved with some tattoo shops. I didn't know the details, but there was a tattoo shop to the north of me that I thought maybe he could be headed towards. And sure enough, he walked up to me. When he approached me, I asked who he was. And then I don't remember what he said after that, because I knew, you have a gut feeling, and I knew that this was the guy. He made a quick movement with his right hand, and I tried to stop his hand, and I told him, don't do this. And he said, I'll show you what I'll do.
Ashley knows that calling out to him is useless at this point. She can see it in his eyes. Instead, she steps back and pulls out her service weapon. Without taking her eyes off Lyndon, she notices a crowd moving in right behind him. She hesitates for a second, not wanting to hit innocent bystanders, but Lyndon doesn't care and opens fire.
Who was that?
That was Agent Ferris.
I was going to take my own life, and he decided to shoot me instead of that. And when I was laying there on the ground, and bleeding out pretty heavily, and my head had hit the pavement, and my head's bleeding, I wasn't going to let him win. It wasn't about me. He was going to keep killing people. He was going to kill my friends who were responding to save me.
Severely concussed and bleeding profusely, Ashley knows her body is about to give out. She has only a few seconds to act. With ringing ears and blurry vision, she can barely make out Lyndon's shape in the distance, but notices the crowd has dispersed. She steadies herself as best she can and pulls the trigger with the last of her strength.
I've said it before to people. I remember the Christmas lights reflecting on the pavement, and I remember laying there, and I thought to myself, this is pretty peaceful. And I realized, I don't think he's shooting at me anymore. And I'm laying there, and I knew, I was like, I'm gonna die. But it's okay, because I did the best I could. And if I'm gonna die, this is an honorable way to go. And I did what I could to save other people, and I did what I could to stay in the fight. But then to see my peers, my coworkers, my friends, run into that situation to save me, sure, it's our job. Absolutely, it's our job. But you don't know how you're gonna react until you're there. And to see them run in to a scene with an active gunman, they run in and they grab me and they save me, I wasn't gonna give up the fight for my life. After that, no way.
I got Ferris, I'm really serious. Let him know to be ready for it.
Meanwhile, Lyndon McLeod is declared dead at the scene. Unbelievably, Ashley managed to shoot right through his heart. The bullet entered Lyndon's upper left side, the only area of his chest unprotected by his body armor.
And so at that point, I decided I have a responsibility. I can be vulnerable. And being vulnerable is something that I think can push suicide awareness and mental health awareness forward.
Just remember, like, you have a f***ing purpose. You are influencing someone else's life, and that is your purpose. It was not comfortable for me to go on the news and say, yeah, I was gonna kill myself that day. But it takes somebody to start it. I hope that I can impact some of the law enforcement community specifically, but also everyone, to say that we are all struggling. If you're gonna run into the gunfight to help somebody, you gotta run into the mental health fight to help somebody too.